All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. So the Green Bay Packers just hit an absolute deep moon shot to left field with the Jeff Hafley defensive coordinator hiring. He has NFL experience. He has a ton of college football experience. I was just listening to a quote of Richard Sherman speaking so highly of him, speaking so highly of his preparation. I love this hiring. He was the head coach at Boston College since 2020. They've been bowl eligible for 3 out of their last 4 seasons. And I love his aggressive nature. And so a league source told somebody in the NFL media world that he wants to coach football again, right? And the league's all about football. He was with Ohio State as a co-DC, and then he went to Boston College, but he worked with, the Browns. He worked with the 49ers. So he has a ton of experience. He's young. He's only 44, but he's studied under well-respected coaches and elevated programs. Adaptable. He's aggressive. The people who get the most punished in the league and in life, I feel like, are the most cautious. And with Joe Barry, I always felt like we were walking on eggshells with the defense. Now, you have to give credit where credit is due. I think he did what needed to be done in the last month or so of the regular season, the last month or so of the season, like the last 2 weeks against the Bears and the Vikings. And then, in the playoffs, I think he did his job, but I'm so glad Matt LaFleur actually decided to go in a different direction. We just need a breath of fresh air, right? This is perfect. All right. And we're going to be talking about it and the Packers defense and the Packers team in today's video. But before we do, if you guys enjoy it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. I'm a diehard cheesehead, so a ton of Packers content on this channel. Let's try and get it to 250 likes. That would mean the absolute world to me. So here's the actual quote. College football has become fundraising, NIL, and recruiting of your own team and transfers. There's no time to coach football anymore. A lot of things that he went back to college for have disappeared. So Hafley served as an assistant for various college programs from like 2001 to 2011. He went to the Buccaneers, like we said, as the defensive back coach. He was then with the Browns. He was then with San Francisco. And then he goes to Ohio State as the co-DC for 1 season. They were the 4th best defense in all college football, averaging less than 14 points allowed. They were the #1 rated total defense as far as yards per game go. They were the #1 rated pass defense. They were the 8th best rush defense. This was just, it was awesome. I mean, he was killing it, goes to Boston College, serves as the head coach. And as we just kind of alluded to, like if you're a college football fan, you know what I'm talking about here. The college football landscape is so different than it was even like pre-COVID. When he first, in 2020, when he first got hired by Boston College, college football is just completely different. And I honestly feel, and this is, I don't even know if this is a hot take. I don't talk college football really ever unless we're talking about, upcoming draft picks. It's so different, man. If you're not like a Bama, if you're not a Georgia, if you're not a Michigan, a Texas, like it's just, NIL has changed it so much. So I'm so glad to see this guy coming in as the defensive coordinator, and he's coming to a Packers team that really needs, like I said, I think a breath of fresh air, a change of scenery at the defensive coordinator position. Joe Barry just wasn't it. And I felt like he was too conservative at times where it was like, all right, we're trying to not give up points. We're trying to not give up a touchdown here. And I just want a more aggressive play caller. I just want a more aggressive defensive play caller. This is what we got. So we do have a ton of holes on the defensive side. Scheme aside, we can talk about the scheme at a different time. He loves safety play, so I know a lot of people are targeting safeties in the draft and free agency already, even though this hiring was like less than 12 hours ago. But the big issue for me is our rush defense. All right, CMC. The whole season, the Packers were the 4th worst rush alloweds team in the National Football League. They were 23rd in yards per carry allowed, and it's just unacceptable because I have so much freaking talent, man. I've got Rashawn Gary, I've got Kenny Clark, I've got Quay Walker, I have Lucas Van Ness. Like, there is our defensive line, Preston Smith. Our defensive line, in my opinion, is just loaded with talent. But it just never worked out, specifically against the run. And I remember, this was a huge issue like last season, not this past year, but the year before. I remember playing teams like Philadelphia where they just control the clock and they're just running it down our throats. And it's absolutely infuriating and it's absolutely frustrating. And a lot of Packers fans wanted Joe Barry gone prior to this previous season. He comes back, gets another shot, and then in that, I think it was the Vikings game in the on the Packers YouTube channel, and like the post game locker room celebration, he gave a game ball to Joe Barry. And I know some like Packers beat writers and reporters were talking about how that could be Joe Barry's kind of parting gift, and that's exactly what ended up happening. So like I said, we can talk about scheme a little bit more. He likes loves press coverage to eliminate route trees, force wide receivers to declare. So I do expect the Packers to go out and acquire, I don't even know if it's going to be free agency or the draft. Hopefully, actually, it really doesn't matter because the Packers do such a good job at evaluating talent no matter what it is. So legit free safety. And yeah, the Packers have some holes. We have some decisions to make, but they're just littered with talent on the defensive side, man. And offensively, I would expect the Packers with their first round draft pick. I actually just saw like a mock draft where they trade up for a pick around the top 10 to take a Packers offensive tackle or a Notre Dame offensive tackle. David Bakhtiari's situation's a little weird as far as the injuries are just stockpiling. And it looks like the Packers are probably going to go in a different direction. And D-back's been one of the best LTs in the National Football League for more years than I can count on one hand. So the Packers offense, as we saw with Jordan Love throwing 32 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, a rating of 96.1. We saw him in the playoffs. Yes, he made two brutal mistakes as far as the 2 interceptions in the divisional round of the playoffs, but damn, dude, that Packers offense is absolutely loaded. And defensively, I still anticipate there's some decisions to make as far as guys like Jaire Alexander, right? The highest paid cornerback in the league, can't really stay on the field. Preston Smith is 31 years old, so I wouldn't be surprised if they go for another edge rusher probably in the draft. I've seen some like mock free agent acquisitions that I feel like is kind of outside of the Packers realm of reality, guys like Patrick Queen. But I am super intrigued to see what Goot does in the draft first and foremost and free agency. And this has me, I was already excited about the Packers defense because I'm looking at guys like Quay Walker. The dude's a superstar. Quay Walker is at least a star linebacker in the National Football League. And what's crazy is he's only in his second season, or now he's in his third season. So there's so much talent defensively to just not have one of the best defenses in the National Football League. And like I said, I love this dude's aggressive nature and I love his adaptability. And it's something I feel like Joe Barry never really caught on with, kind of stuck to his guns, or however that saying goes as far as adaptability goes. You got to be able to adapt on the fly. And that's what we're getting right here. So I'm so excited. I think my fellow Packers fans are also excited, but let's check the comments after this video is uploaded. So as always, hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. But most importantly, guys, let me know your thoughts on the Jeff Hafley defensive coordinator hire. It's a good day. Joe Barry, and I feel for like him and his family because I'm sure he's a great guy, but it just needed a change of scenery, and that's exactly what the Packers are getting here. You're going to be hearing out of the box, kind of a crazy move. I don't think it was a crazy move at all. So we'll be talking about this as the week goes on, so stay tuned on this channel. But most importantly, guys, give me a grade rating on the Jeff Hafley comment or the hiring. Give some comments on some thoughts that you have. That's it for me. Peace.